Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of the Vanity podcast. Today, I'm joined by three different beautiful gentlemen. One is the same. Garrett, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Garrett. I'm coming to you live, back in the closet. I've I've re I've taken away my coming out of the closet. I'm back in.
Just so that he can come back out again on this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. I'm gonna come out every episode just so that's my thing.
And I'm also joined here by Dylan.
Hey, what's up? I'm not in the closet. I'm more of an addict dude. So I might fall through, honestly. Might fall through a couple of stories, but yeah. Being in the
And
attic
I'm
is
also
not
joined
gay.
here by Amal.
Hello. Screw both of you guys. I'm just gonna sit in my room, play my gacha games.
How about we just all get in the closet?
No, that's gay.
That means I have to
Well,
get down.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just have an attic party.
Just play 5
That's
minutes
good,
in
too.
heaven with 4 people.
I mean,
I'm gonna
we could
stab.
we could eat some of that attic cotton candy.
I'm gonna stab a bullet up through
Okay,
there.
I actually pulled it out of my wall, and I became really itchy for a really long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it
it's
does.
Yeah, it's like fiberglass. It goes into your skin.
It
Yeah,
was not a fun
don't ever
time.
touch that.
I literally covered myself with it.
Oh my god.
How did you?
You're like, ow, why does this hurt? Ow, why am I putting more on my body? Ow, why am I getting in a bath full of this stuff?
Gosh, I don't understand why I'm so itchy, guys. I don't get it.
Well, to be fair, I was like 3.
You were 3?
Man,
That is
your
fair.
survival.
Your
instincts
parents,
as a
like,
3-year-old.
what? Your parents put
No,
you
they were
in
li-
an attic insulin?
They were
See,
like
I-
watching me just laughing.
That's better than if that happened like recently, I think.
That's,
oh,
yeah,
if it
that's
happened
fair.
recently, that'd be pretty bad.
Well, I think if it happened recently, you could just at least say, "Yeah, I did it on purpose. I just want to see what happened." As a 3-year-old,
Yeah, I mean,
that stuff happens. You just go, "Well, I guess I'll keep doing it, because why not?"
I ever tell
Yeah.
you guys about the time that my dad's foot fell through the attic?
No.
So
think-
I was eating breakfast, getting ready for school, and I just heard a loud like behind me, and I turn around, and there's just like dust falling onto the stairs, and so I get up and I walk over and I look up, and my dad's leg is just through the ceiling, and I was like, "Are you okay up there?" And he was like, yeah," and then he like shoves his foot back up through the thing. So there's still a
must have
hole
had-
there. He just covered it up by a piece of like cardboard, but it's like white, so it blends in. But he never fixed it, so there's just a hole up
Sounds like
there.
he was having one hell of a dance party up there. Jeez.
I know, right?
That boy dancing.
What was he doing over there?
I can't remember exactly. I think he was trying to go up there to make sure that the gas line was still like on, and then
Yeah,
on his
that's
way
important.
out, his foot just slipped and fell through.
that's my biggest fear when I go up into the attic is just falling through.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I live
don't.
up there, so I live
Oh,
in
yeah.
constant fear.
Well, I don't need to live in an attic to do that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's relatable.
Yay.
Hashtag relatable.
Hashtag relatable teen moment.
So, how was everyone's Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was a couple days ago. So how did that go for everybody?
It went pretty okay. At first, I thought I was going to be doing it alone because my grandparents actually took a trip out to Detroit for a wedding, and I didn't want to go, so I made up some dumb excuse to not go, and they bought it. And then I
Oh,
was
you
like,
actually didn't go?
no, I didn't go. So now I have to return a $200 suit, baby.
Oh my
Oh, no.
god.
Wow.
That's why you couldn't make it onto the podcast last week, is because you're trying to go buy a suit.
Yeah, but oh well.
So, so why weren't you alone on Thanksgiving then?
Oh, well, so one of my friends, his name is Henry, he invited me like very last second out to go with him and his family to Thanksgiving because he didn't know I was supposed to go to a wedding that day, and I just accepted it and went, yeah, sure, why not?
That's nice.
Yay.
Well, mine was pretty crazy. So, my grandparents were late, so we didn't have a turkey yet. And there was a wreck on 75 that day, and they come that way, and they were very late. So we ended up getting a call from them, and we're all like, "Oh my god, you guys at the wreck?" And they're like, "No, the turkey's on fire." So we're like, "What the hell? How?" And they bring the turkey, guys. It was black as hell.
No.
It was very well done. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't think a turkey can get that black.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how mine went.
That's impressive. Mine was pretty slow. I went over to my mom's. So my mom is living with one of her friends right now, but they were out of town, so we had their house to ourselves. So I went over there for Thanksgiving. But my mom makes the best pie. Like, she makes all different kinds of pie, and they're absolutely phenomenal. So I went over there, we chilled, I fell in love with the dogs that were over there. And I wanted to steal both of them. Unfortunately, I didn't steal any of them. But I still may go back and take one. But yeah, so we started to eat dinner, and then I fell off my chair, and my plate came off. And so I spilled turkey on the ground, and then I ate a big thing of pie.
So you had no turkey.
No, I
I
did.
imagine he eventually got turkey, just not at that immediate moment.
Well,
I
mean,
imagine he also got laughed at.
I did, yeah. I also
Epic.
got to feed the dogs the turkey that was on the ground.
Oh, I would have been like
Even more
5-second rule. Like 5-second rule that hoe.
Yo guys, I got that levitation ability. It's cool. It hasn't even been on the ground for more than like 2 seconds.
How did that 5-second rule even become a thing?
I don't know.
Like who thought, okay, hold on, the germs are planning their attack for 5 seconds.
Probably just some really hungry bastard who didn't have any other time but to, or didn't have time to cook any other food. So he just went, it's fine, probably.
I mean, yeah, it was probably just someone who didn't want to get judged for eating stuff off the floor.
Or he just
He's
dropped
like-
his favorite treat, and he was like, I can't let this go to waste, dude.
Yeah,
It's like-
I can't do it, man. It's not
and
worth
so he
it.
just came up with this elaborate tale. Like, guys, it's clean until 5 seconds, and then,
Yeah.
and
the
then it's
5-second rule.
unedible.
What if?
Yeah, and up until that point, everyone, as soon as they dropped their stuff on the floor, would just throw it away.
Exactly.
Nobody had ever thought about this until then.
It's like those
And-
memes where it's like, oh, someone discovered gravity in this year, and then everyone else
yes,
before
yes.
that year they're
Oh,
just
yeah.
floating around.
Those are great.
Those memes are
My
good.
Thanksgiving was not very eventful and also not very funny, so we're gonna skip me.
No,
No,
wrong.
we gotta
You have
listen
to
to it.
describe your
There's no
extremely
skipping.
mundane and
Explain-
boring
Yeah.
family experience.
Explain the
Alright.
taste of the turkey.
Yeah, we had ham actually.
Oh my god, no,
What?
we're skipping you.
No, I agree. Ham is better than turkey all the way.
Well, the thing is, most of the turkey that I've had is just overcooked, so it's just super dry.
Lucky you didn't have
So
mine.
it's like
That's
it's not very.
that's
well,
how turkey is, bro. Sometimes you just gotta eat that dry turkey.
It's not good though.
It doesn't have to be good.
Yes, it
You
does.
have
If
to-
I'm gonna eat
You
it,
have to uphold tradition, Garrett. Doesn't
I
matter
don't
if it's
care about tradition.
painful. Sometimes
Look.
you just gotta suffer for the cause, you know.
look. If my ancestors ate shit every Thanksgiving, I would not.
Listen,
I
your
don't know. I think
ancestors
you
are not
would because it'd be
smiling
normal
down
at that
you.
point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if I had been eating shit ever since I was a kid, I probably would be used to it.
And then you eat some gourmet shit, and you're like, oh well, this tastes like bad. I'm gonna go back to eating my
It
garbage.
tastes
You know
like
how-
bad.
You know how before there was plumbing, everybody would just shit in a bucket and throw it out their window?
Yeah, it's
You just
that.
you just sit out people's window waiting for them to throw the shit out. You just like have your mouth open, like trying to catch snow.
Not even that. You just mold it into a turkey.
Just eating handfuls of shit.
Yeah, my turkey stuffing is just its own shit.
Oh god.
Like the diarrhea.
Oh,
All right. Anyway, this is gross. So let's move on.
but
Speaking
after
of,
my, okay, do you want to do yours? Because I have another tale.
I have a small tail.
Okay, you
Okay.
do
That's
yours
kind of
first, but
disgusting.
know that I'm coming back to this Thanksgiving thing.
Yeah, definitely. No, well, my grandma made extra stuffing, and she didn't cook it, so I thought it was already cooked. So I get a plate of it. And I'm like, dang, this stuffing's really liquidy. I'm like, okay, it should go back to normal in the microwave. So I cook it. It like hardened, and I don't even know what happened to it. It turned to like a cookie type deal. And I still ate it, and it was really gross.
You didn't
I was
stop eating it after the first bite.
Well, I realized I was like, this is not right. Like 75% of it was already gone, like in my stomach. So I was like, yeah, this is not right. And I called my grandma. She's like, oh yeah, mijo, you have to cook it.
No.
And then she called me like stupid and like Mexican. But
That's-
yeah, that's my story.
Okay, so mine isn't specifically Thanksgiving. It's Black Friday. So I stayed over at my Henry's house for the night, and the next day, his sister's boyfriend comes over because he wants to get her like a whole new brand new PC. And Henry's family are a bunch of tech nerds, so they go ham on this, right? They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll drive over to Micro Center, buy her the parts on Black Friday. It'll be super cheap." And me and Henry look at each other and we go, "This is not going to end well." So we drive over to Micro Center, and the parking lot is completely full, and it took us a while to even find a parking space. And we're sitting there like, "Okay, well, it's Micro Center. They got to have a big store, right?" And I'm sitting here going, no, impossible. It's not going to happen. But they try their luck anyway. We go in, and there's a ton of people walking around, as you expect. But the moment you walk in the door, there's like an aisle that's kind of blocking you into one section, and it leads you into a line. And we thought it was the line to get into the computer section. So, of course, we walk past it for now, because we're just looking around for the moment. And eventually, we come across this guy who's uh, just sitting there at a computer, right? And he looks like an employee. And Henry goes, "Man, I'm just wondering what the deal is with all these lines." And the guy, he looks at us and he goes, "Oh, I can explain. The line for the cash register is over there." And he points back to where you walked in the building. And if you followed that line more closely, it was a mess. It zigzagged around the whole building, and all these like different people in these different lines. You could see that there were sections that were broken up into different parts as well. So I just, because there's also a studio movie girl next to the Micro Center, we were like, I just told them, yeah, you guys want to buy something, you do that. I'm gonna go to the studio movie girl over there. I'll be back. Maybe you guys will be halfway through the line by then. Because oh my god, dude! But there was so much, and we just kind of quit right there. We were just going, all right, yeah, no. Guess Mary's not getting a machine today.
Yeah,
We walked out of the store.
that's why I stopped actually like actively Black Friday shopping a couple of years ago, because I used to be super excited for all the deals. Like I would always look through all the magazines and like all the little things that they'd mail you. And I would plan out where I was going to go, and I would just spend the whole day going out and shopping everywhere. But there's just, it's takes so much time, and you really only get a few things, really.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the hassle. That's
Yeah.
why Cyber Monday is way better.
And it's-
Because like everything that I would buy anyway, like I used to buy a decent amount of stuff, but then it just slowly trickled down to I'd buy a hard drive every Black Friday.
Yeah.
Because I could get like a 2 terabyte hard drive for like $75,
Yeah.
which is like really good.
Yeah.
In fact, like today, I bought something because Amazon does their Cyber Monday deals a little bit early. So I didn't buy anything on Black Friday, but for the Cyber Monday deals, I did finally buy a new Xbox controller that does have Bluetooth in it, so I can finally connect it to my phone and use the xCloud stuff, where you can like cast any of the games on your Xbox or from their servers to your phone at 1080p 60 FPS. Uh, and I did try it out actually on Thanksgiving, because while we were over at their house, they had a controller that had Bluetooth. So I did connect it to my phone and try it, and I am very impressed.
Nice. It doesn't work
when
like Stadia at all.
No, it
Don't
doesn't.
even mention Stadia.
But yeah, no, like the input delay was almost non-existent, which was incredibly surprising to me. And as long as I was connected to the Wi-Fi, then it stayed 60 FPS, and like it jumped between like 720 1080. Not too often, but it still looked good. I did test it on my data. On my data, it like pixelated a bunch and it dropped down to like 10 frames, and then sometimes it would stabilize and go to 1080 60. But I'm still very impressed with how that did. But yeah,
What'd
so
you
I
play?
bought what I play. I tried Darksiders 3, and I also tried Terra.
Oh, Terra's
Yeah.
definitely
Not the MOBA, the
no.
RPG?
That's yeah, MMO.
Which did run pretty well actually.
Terra was. I'm sad that Terra didn't
Yeah,
take
it's
off, and
dead.
I'm also even more sad that because it didn't take off the way it needed to, it just devolved into this game that you can't even take seriously anymore. They have freaking like you're in a fantasy setting, but then you see people flying around in mech suits, and you're like, "What is that? What is this doing here?"
Dude, that game was fun for like 2 hours for me, and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, no. I remember back in the day, dude. I played a Slayer, and I would be an evasive tank, and out of my friend group, I was the best PvPer. So, because at first it was like Slayers are really hard to get a grasp on, but once you get a grasp for their combos, they are fantastic. I was destroying people left and right,
I
and
mean, it wasn't just press space and you win.
well, not even that, because with one of our group members specifically, he played a mage, right? And in Terra, the mages, they like to slow you and debuff you, and then they basically just run away like a bunch of little bitches and snipe spells at you from afar, and it's really hard to close the gap. So when you're playing the Slayer, especially because you're an evasive tank, if you get hit by anything, your HP drops really hard. So, for Slayer classes at least, you had to manage your moves quite a bit. But
I
oh
didn't
man.
really play that game that much. Like I played it a little bit, but I'd never like sunk too many hours into it. It looks fun, but I can never, unless it's like something that's really well known. I don't really delve deep into big MMOs like that.
Yeah, same.
Because it's normally the same stuff. Like you just
Yeah.
walk up to a guy and you're like, "Go over here, grab me a branch," and then like return it to him, and you get some XP. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So real quick, the other thing that I got for Cyber Monday was I finally bought an SD card for my Switch, so I can
Wow.
actually
Oh,
like
About time.
download games onto it.
Yeah.
Because I only have like 3 games downloaded and then whatever games I have physical. But now I can actually have a selection of games, which
Make sure
is
Yeah, it's
Speaking
quite
of switching
nice.
games on Switch.
Turn off the autosave on Pokemon if you ever get it.
I
So
may
that
get it
Yeah.
at
stuff
some
doesn't
point, but
delete your
Yeah.
entire your SD card.
But on back to the topic of MMOs, I guess it really isn't an MMO, but have you guys been keeping up with I forgot the name.
Cyberpunk?
No, not Cyberpunk. The Hypixel. The like
No.
I have
Okay.
not.
Hightail?
Hytale. Yes, Hytale.
No, I have not. I'm
Okay.
interested in it though.
So they created a. Do you guys know what it is at least?
Minecraft
don't.
clone.
I don't.
Or
either.
better Minecraft is what
Okay, so yeah, so the Minecraft server Hypixel is creating their own Minecraft game. They've been working on it for a very long time, and it looks incredibly impressive. It looks really good. And they finally made a blog post saying that they plan to release it in 2021, but they over the past couple months they've been releasing the OST onto their YouTube, and the music is absolutely phenomenal. Like, it's Skyrim level amazing.
Oh man.
Uh, yeah, so whenever you guys have the chance, I definitely recommend, one, checking out the trailer, and two, checking out all the songs that they've posted. They're about 5 minutes each. There's no words, obviously, but you know, it's crazy. Like, I'm
They've
very
been
excited
working
for
on
this game.
Hypixel for a long time. I think we found out about it, didn't we, in sophomore year, didn't we, Zach?
For Hytale,
Yeah.
they released the trailer 11 months ago. So
They were like talking about it, like Hypixel themselves tweeted it, like a picture.
yeah,
or
a long time
something.
ago. But yeah,
I
the server
wanna-
itself is, I haven't like been on the server itself in a long time, so I don't know how the server is going. But you know, their game looks really good.
See, I want to play. I want to play that game, because it sounds interesting to say the least. But at the same time, I already have so many other games I have to sink my time into, and I just want more games that don't take time to play, because I have like Destiny 2, sometimes World of Warcraft, uh, my gotcha games.
Oh my.
I have too many things that I have to play already, and then I also have my backlog of, single player solo games that I haven't played. I still haven't finished Remnant from the Ashes, and that came out a while ago. I only just beat, what was it, Code Vein, a while back, and now I'm replaying it with a friend on the PlayStation. And then I still want to play Persona 5 some more. Like, I have so many games. I can't play more games. But then I have more games coming out, like Cyberpunk 2077. And I'm going to be spending my entire life playing that game for the rest of eternity.
When that game comes out, it's gonna be that, like, no one's gonna hear from me
Yeah.
for a hot second, because
Yeah, no,
that game is gonna be.
I'm dropping off the
amazing.
face of the planet. I'm going
Dude,
to,
what if the game's actually bad? That would suck.
I would
I
honestly just break down
I
mentally.
really don't think it will be. My biggest like worry is the fact that they want to have it where there's no loading screens, like,
Yeah.
which
They want it to be
sounds
seamless.
That would be cool.
amazing.
It
It would
sounds
be
good,
cool.
but it's going to be super hardware intensive. Like,
And that's the thing, is I don't have like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X.
yeah,
so,
no.
like,
Yeah, same.
You can expect the older versions of the new generation of consoles for the
Yeah, what
moment.
if it
at
releases
least.
on PS? What if it like releases on PS5? Isn't
They
that supposed to come
well,
out?
well
It's
they
actually
said
not
that
going to.
they said it's not that they're not going to. What they said is that they're focusing on this generation of consoles, and then when the next one comes out, they'll see what they want to do with it. Is, I believe, what they mentioned.
Yeah,
But I
well,
don't-
yeah, they were saying that it's like it's developed for this generation.
Yeah.
So, like, once you get, you can play them, at least if the PS5 has backwards compatibility with the PS4, which it should. If it doesn't,
needs
that's
to.
that's a big fail if it doesn't. In fact, I think that it may already be confirmed, actually, that it will be backwards compatible with the PS4. But they did mention with the Scarlet that you can play it on the Scarlet, but again, it's developed for this gen, so I don't know if you're really going to see that many improvements if you're playing on the Scarlet or if you're playing on like a One
Like,
X.
the most improvement you'll be getting is just frame rate and less technical issues, if there are any to begin with. But you're not going to see any kind of 2K to 4K enhancements, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
So recently with like with you guys, with my dad moving out and you guys moving in, like a few of you that are here, or just one of you actually, but with one of you moving in and us having to start paying rent, like, money's pretty tight. But
Yeah.
with these lights that I have, the leaf light panels, I so badly want to buy more. Like,
Oh my god.
I don't even know
Zach.
what type of like design I would do. See, but okay, let me explain myself. So these 15 panels that I have were $300. So, as you can tell, that's a pretty high fucking number.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but they
You won't
look
pay
so
for-
good.
You
So
wanna
let me
pay
explain why I want more.
$300 for panel lights.
Listen, I don't want more for my room. What I want more for is whenever you move in a mall, we're going to have one extra room. And that
Oh.
room is going to be turned into a podcast D&D room. And that is where we're going to start doing the video podcast format.
Sweet.
And what I want is to have panels in that room. So that way, whenever we're playing D&D or, we're recording the podcast, we can set the lights for, whatever mood or whatever situation we're in D&D, and then have the panels in the formation of a VP for Vanity Podcast whenever we're doing the podcast, as, like nice backgrounds,
I just imagine you saying that. The DM, he looks up from his DM screen all evil like, and he goes, "Alexa, play Total Party Kill music." And then the lights dim to
Turn
like
red.
dark red.
Yeah.
And then just this horror music starts playing.
Yeah, I have my Google Home to set to when I say, like, "Hey Google, I'm gonna unplug you." Then she says, "I dare you to try," and then like all the lights turn red. Right now,
Record that.
right now, I need to fix the lights because my LED strips that run around the ceiling of my room, they have either I want to say they're broken right now, but it's not that they're broken. It's that whenever I turn them off, the lights don't actually fully turn off. Like they all go off for a second, and then it slowly starts to glow green. So I have to keep them unplugged when I go to sleep. And the power went out the other day, and it like reset the Wi-Fi adapter on my leaf light panels.
Oh.
So I have to I reassigned them to my phone, but I have to reassign them to the Google so I can like command them with my voice.
Yeah.
But once I get them all set up, then I can get it to where it'll set the leaf lights to a certain type of like array of red, like
Yeah.
along with the LEDs on top. So that'll be pretty rad. But I'm just too lazy to do it.
Story of my life, honestly. Me, I
We're
gotta
all pretty
get up
lazy.
and clean my cat's litter box. I'm too lazy to do it. I'll do it in an hour.
That's what I did today with I had the 5-page essay due for a history thing, and I decided to not do it and do D&D instead, which will result in me probably failing the class.
Listen,
Oh, that's
just
not good.
just right after this podcast, sit down and just drink 8 Monster Energy drinks.
Yeah, it's due at 11:59, so
Oh no.
You could do
Yeah,
it, Zach.
good enough amount of time.
I believe in
5
you.
hours?
Yeah, it's 5 hours. 1 hour for every page. Like, okay, here's the thing, and I can personally attest to this. Okay, so, and this is an anecdotal story to back up your confidence. So in high school, I had an AP biology class, and I don't even remember why I decided to take that class. I just did, but it was end of the semester, and I had mostly scored like 50s or 60s in that class. Mainly because I didn't do my homework or any of the reading, so of course in an AP class that gets you bottom of the barrel. And my AP teacher walks up to me and she says, "You're gonna fail," and I go, "Bet." So I'm not gonna go into this whole story of how I made an epic comeback and managed to pull off like a 75 in that class from a 50, but my book report was one of the things that I did to get my grade back up, right? Literally the day before the book report was due, I sat down, didn't even read half the book. I skimmed through half of the book, wrote a full-on book report, I think like 3 pages worth or something like that. And she gave it back to me, and it was a 100, like actually 100 grade.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't know if that was pure luck, if I managed to just completely read all the right parts, or if she just, could tell I was bullshitting and was just trying to get a really good grade. But I'm telling you personally that anything is possible, Zach.
yeah, no,
You just
that's
gotta
fine.
believe.
When it's stuff like that, I could do that. But the thing is that with this topic, it's not like one that he assigned. It's one that you're supposed to choose. And while that does sound good, I'm awful when I have to choose my own topic because I can't just like look up stuff about just that one topic. Because I don't really know what we went over in the class, and it has to be over something that's in the time period that because it's for history. And
Yeah.
so
Are you not paying attention in class? Or?
well, it's a 3-hour lecture. You're gonna sit there and pay attention for 3 hours straight.
That's long. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a long time.
No, I get distracted by my professor's bald head, and and I just look at it shine. But
When you started to say bald, I thought you were gonna say balls.
yeah, I just stare at my professor's balls for like the whole 3 hours. It makes it way.
Yeah, for some reason, I always have to sit like underneath his desk and just stare up at him.
If I
and
don't,
he's
I
wearing
can't
a kilt.
concentrate.
But yeah, so my main issue with this is the fact that it's getting hot in this bitch. Is the fact that
Sorry.
I need to have 4 sources, and they have to be books. And I have to have direct quotes from the books, page numbers, and the author.
Well, your professor sounds like a bad person. Like a really bad
He
professor.
hates you, dude.
Don't have books. We can get the books online. He's fine with that, but I cannot use any websites or anything like that. No, so that is why I postponed. He gave this to us at the beginning of the school year. Okay, I had a long time to do this, but I just didn't.
Yeah. I can see where the failing rate's gonna come from.
Yeah. So
I think,
you know.
but I think you can actually look up PDFs of books on Google.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is then the page numbers might get skewed as well with the PDFs.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what though. I'll do my best. I'll try.
You can
Because
do
this
it,
is
Zach.
worth this research paper is worth a lot of our grade, and this isn't the final essay.
Listen, I'm just saying, and it's like life advice to live by. A 20 is better than a 0.
Yeah, I know.
So even if you only manage to get 20% of it in, man, yeah, it's that much less to try and come back from.
Yes, this is very true.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to do classes online, because if it was online, like,
Well,
I
also
know.
keep in mind that online classes, you also get kind of trapped in this mentality of I can just do it later. It's an online
Oh.
class. I got like all day, and then you never do it.
see,
It's
I
even worse
had
than
that
an
mentality when I was
it's
doing. Sorry, go.
Oh, I was just saying it's the same. Like at least in in a face-to-face lecture, it's the face-to-face lecture reminding you that you have that due. If it's an online class, at least for me, if it's an online class, I will literally throw it in the back of my mind, thinking I have forever to do it, and I will just completely 100% forget about it, and then I'd log on and be looking at my grades and go, "Huh, why do I have a 32 in this class?" It's
So
never happened to me, but it will if I ever take an online class.
so that was my mentality when I had online classes, because I've done online classes before, because I had to take some classes in summer school, due to the fact that I failed them. But so I had to retake them online, like chemistry, but I also did health online. I didn't fail that class. I just didn't. I took it over summer, that way I could just get it out of the way. And I had that issue where I put it in the back of my mind. I had put it in the back of my mind and like forgotten about it. But with this year, my math class, like my professor said that everything's going to be online, and it is. Like the entire math class is online, and we had until December something to finish the class. And the thing is I finished the entire class within the first week. So this was months ago, because I did the entire class online.
Yeah.
But I have not finished the class entirely because of the fact that I never went to the class. Because whenever you go to the class, all you do is you just, like you still do it online, but the professor's there if you have any questions. My issue is that now I have to do the final.
Yeah.
And I have
And
to
you
be
don't
there in
remember any of
person.
it.
It's not that I don't remember any of it. It's just I'm too lazy to go to the campus to
Oh.
take the final. So literally all I need to do, I'm doing it
Oh no.
on tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna study before I go in tomorrow, and then I'm actually gonna finally take the final. But I should have been technically completely done with this class months ago.
Yeah. Well, that's
So-
just how it be.
It is. That's just how it be sometimes.
That's how it be on this bitch of an earth. Just gotta take it all in stride, chief.
I watched Frozen 2 the other day, and it was really good. Like,
I will repeat what I said to you when you told me this originally.
yeah.
If Elsa doesn't have a gun, it's a bad movie. If Elsa doesn't pop some bitches in the head with some lead,
Listen.
I don't care.
She is a fucking badass in this movie. Like, I cannot express how much of a badass Elsa is in this movie.
Okay, but does she yell, "Mr. President, get down"?
You know,
No,
there is a
then it's a
scene
bad
very
movie.
similar to that.
But does she say the line?
She does not say the line, no.
Bad movie.
But she does fight a horse underwater at one point, and she, like, uses... It's a badass scene. Anyway, she tames the horse, and it's super cool. But, no, like, the music and everything in that movie, like, the animation is so crisp. The animation is just so good. And the
Disney.
music is
I
phenomenal.
expect it to be
know.
crisp. If
Yeah,
it's
no.
not crisp, I'm giving it a 0 out of 10 stars.
Yeah, no, I get it. It is Disney. It's supposed to be good. But, yeah, no. My favorite Disney movie before this was Tangled. But now it's
Oh
Frozen 2.
my.
Also, the machete fights that happened
Imagine
afterwards.
watching movies.
Imagine watch.
No, I said
Yeah.
imagine watching movies because I don't watch movies personally very often, and Garrett can attest to that.
Yeah, I watch a lot of movies because I work
What-
in a movie theater.
What teacher?
What, really? Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of
Uh,
movie theater do you work at, Garrett?
I'm not telling you. You're gonna stalk me.
I'm gonna come into your movie theater and I'm gonna complain about your customer service being poor, and they're gonna give me free movie tickets.
Honestly, yeah. But like I watched Frozen, the first one, and it was like super overhyped, and I thought it was kind of meh. And then Frozen 2 was good, but I still feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're just made to sell toys mostly, and then they come up with the storyline after.
I mean,
Okay, but the storyline in Frozen 2 actually, like, had a story. That's why I didn't like the first Frozen. Is because, well, one, the music was very annoying in the first Frozen. But, you know, in Frozen 2, at least there's, like, actually an easy to follow and kind of, like, fun to follow storyline that's with it.
Yeah, like I didn't dislike Frozen 2. I just didn't like it as much as some other movies.
That's
See,
fair.
but a movie doesn't need to have a story in order to be good. Just look at John Wick. Fuck.
That's very true. I do like myself some John Wick.
All I need to do is see a man kill the entire city's worth of population of men for a dog, and I'm satisfied.
And speaking of Frozen 2, apparently this is going to be an ongoing thing. I just have stumbled across a news article about another thing that happened for the opening of Frozen 2. Apparently in Washington, an entire theater was evacuated because someone left a bottle of urine that was marked highly contagious at the theater.
Oh my god.
Like,
Mommy, I'm ready to watch Frozen 2. Yeah, me too, sweet. Wait, what's that? What's what, Mommy? Oh, we need to go now. Go, go, go.
imagine just like seeing a bottle that's just labeled highly contagious and just freaking out. And then you find
That is
find
true.
out that it's
Wait,
that
what's
it's
making a
piss.
comeback? Well,
Oh boy.
rip Black Plague. That shit's gonna get
Well,
eradicated fast, and
typically
then
shoot
you can say vaccine. Oh, wait a
maybe
minute.
we should bring it to an opening of Frozen 2.
Highly contagious. They're just like, nah, it'll be okay.
That's like
Everybody
that's
just
like
starts
the
to get
laziest-
boils.
See, this
That's-
is the type you say to get you put on a list.
that's like the laziest bomb threat you could do is just piss in a bottle and label it highly contagious and just throw it somewhere. It worked.
Apparently.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
mean, you're
effective
right.
if you had a bottle of Black Plague. Because what are the police gonna do? If you call the police and you're like, someone, yeah, just a bottle of air. But like, if you bring in a person, they're like, oh my god, someone brought someone who has the Black Plague in this theater. Like, they're not gonna believe you.
Probably not. I don't
And-
know. They would probably have to take you seriously though, because they can't just like ignore that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what are
He's
they
the
gonna
first
do?
one on the list.
They're gonna get there.
Shoot the guy that has
in-
the Black
in full-
Plague. Easy peasy.
Okay,
They'll probably just-
now his blood is like
Probably just-
fuming the air.
Yeah,
And now
exactly.
everyone's
And
gonna
then they incinerate the entire theater.
they just burn the theater down.
I'm so glad. I
They
got
just nuke the area. They go, all right, we did it, boys. We saved the city.
Dude, it's just like
I just
what
should've
was
left.
it that was like having everybody super scared because it was in the U.S. again?
Ebola?
Ebola.
Ebola, that's what it was. Yeah, the Ebola scare of like what, 2012, or was it 2013, something like that?
Do you guys remember way back in the day when swine flu was a really big thing?
Yeah, it was
And
killing
people-
hundreds of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I caught it at one point. And
Like, during the time.
I caught it during that period in time, and everyone around me was super scared. They were like, "Oh my god, he's gonna die!" And I'm like, "Guys, I just have a fever. Relax."
It's
I 100%.
And now you're black.
Yeah. Side effect of the swine flu, everyone. You turn black.
I knew it. That's why everyone was so scared of it.
What was
Like I said, this is the stuff you say to get put on a list. Maybe not the government's list, but a list.
shit? I want to be on a list.
Again, I could say I'm pretty
I
pretty
wanna
I
well
want
known.
someone to
Stickers.
notice me, senpai.
Actually,
I want-
speaking about being on a list, back in school, like they started making it where you have to wear your name tag.
No, he didn't.
This was right after you left, Dylan, or the next year.
Two people
But,
snapped me. They're like,
yeah,
"Hey, I thought
I
you died."
accidentally convinced the whole
I'm just
school
like,
that Dylan died.
huh?
But, that's another story.
What?
Yeah, I'll tell that story in just a second. But
Okay.
so anyway, they started making it where everyone has their own name
"Oh
tag,
boy,
and it has a picture of them on it. Blah
his
blah blah.
poor bald
And
Mark."
you're not allowed to be on campus if you don't have it. And if you don't have
Oh,
it,
yeah,
or you're
yeah.
not allowed in class. And so if you don't have it, then they're gonna send you down to sub school, and you have to get a temporary one. You can only get 2 temporaries, and then you have to spend $5.
And then they shoot you.
Yeah, and then they shoot you. No, but then you
They
have to
just
spend
they put you on back and they put you on your knees and then they shoot you.
as an example. They make an example of
they
you.
They go hardcore mafia style on this. Okay, they put your mouth against the pavement and they kick your jaw in.
Oh my god. But no, so then you have to spend $5 to get a new name tag. But I never wore my lanyard, and so I didn't have my name tag with me. And most of the teachers were chill with it. Like, they didn't really care about the rule. They didn't care at all, really. But then
Remember when I
once
made that
the
joke to
school
that
started
one
being
kid?
like, you know, hey,
And he was
teachers,
like,
like, you
Mr.
really got to
was like,
start.
"What the hell
you
is
really
wrong
gotta
with
start
him?"
enforcing this stuff. Then my English
I
teacher
mean-
was like, I walk in, I sit down. She goes, Zach, do you have your name tag? I go, no. She goes, well, you're on the list. And I was like, I'm on the list.
What?
She goes, yeah, you're on the list. And I was like, what is this list for? She goes, people who consecutively break the rules about the name tags. And I was like, okay, so what does this mean for me?
Yeah.
And she was like, go to sub school and they'll talk to you about it there. So I walk down, I go to sub school, and she's like, so why don't you have your name tag? And I'm like, I left it in my truck, just simple stuff like that. And she goes, well, why? And I was like, I don't listen. Can we not do this right now? Like, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And so she was like, okay, well,
He throws a fit,
you're gonna have
dude.
to buy a new one. And I was like, but it's in my car. I was like, it's not that I lost it. I just don't have it with me. And then she goes, okay, then go to your truck and go get it and, bring it back to me. And so I went to my truck. Lo and behold, I don't have it. So then I go back and I'm like, I guess I did lose it. I think it's just at home. Can I just get another temporary? She goes, no, you have to buy a new one. And I'm like, fuck. So, I give her $5, and she did not give me any warning. She goes, smile, and just like quick draws this camera like a goddamn cowboy. She quick draws it and takes a picture, and it is the absolute worst
Hey,
picture
what
I've
were y'all
ever seen
talking
of
about,
myself. And then she prints it onto a plastic card with my name on it, and she hands it to me, and she's
you
like,
tell me?
"You're now off the list." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
You just got assassinated, Zach.
I just love the idea of this teacher being like, instead of just being like, oh yeah, make sure you go to talk to sub school and whatever. They're just like, no, you're on the list. This is important.
It was an
Like, that seems so
experience.
ominous.
Wait, so was this at senior high?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, because I went back there with my brother at one point because he had to go to some like, I guess, like walk-in thing to find out where his classes were, and since obviously I've been to senior high before, I was like, oh, I'll go with you and show you where stuff is. So we go in, and at one point, I walk around and I'm like, oh, okay. One of the teachers stops us and she's like, oh, you need a pass to get around the school. And I go, when the, was this a rule?
Mm.
So luckily my brother has his, and the teacher's like, oh, no, but he needs one too. And I'm looking around all bewildered, and I'm sitting there going, and I walk up to the front desk, right? And I go, hey, I'm here with my little brother, here to tour the school, whatever. And the lady's like, okay, yeah. If there are any locked doors, just put this up to the door and it'll unlock. And so, of course, I
Alright,
ask
dude.
her, and I go, and she goes, oh, yeah, no, we implemented a new, like, policy that every person at the school has to wear a lanyard, otherwise they're not allowed in.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is so counterproductive. Like, how are the police going to get in if something
Do you
want to
know why? So they marketed this to us as it is our safety against school shootings, because if someone, because we have an open campus, so there's multiple buildings, and you have to walk between sometimes your class is in a different building, so you have to walk to the other one, just like it's like a small college campus. So what their theory was that with them locking all these doors, it's not that everyone's card can open up all the doors. I think they may have just given that to you because you were touring, but there's hall monitors that roam around all the hallways, and if you need in, you show them your name tag, and they'll open the door for you. So the thing was that if someone in a building starts shooting it up, they can't go to another building and shoot that one up. And so we were like, okay, that makes sense. But while we were there, they only locked the right door. So all of the left doors were unlocked. So we
Why?
were like, this makes zero
Jack-
sense. Like, this is not going to stop the shooter from going into another building, because they're not going to try one door and be like, uh-oh, it's
I've
locked.
been foiled.
I've been fooled. And again, another thing is, all the students know the left door's unlocked. School shootings are students. They know which doors are going to be unlocked. But then
Right.
I was in math class, and he accidentally left his email up on the projector. And so we were all able to read it. And the real reason is because people that either graduated the year before, or people that just looked like they were our age, were coming on campus and selling drugs to the students. So the people who don't have name tags are assumed to be drug dealers. And so one time I saw a guy getting handcuffed and escorted out by a cop because he didn't have a name tag. And he was probably on the list. So
Patient zero of the list, if you will.
But yeah, no, that's just wild.
On the
Bro,
list.
the senior high is bad. I'm glad I graduated when I did. I don't have to ever go back to that place ever
Yeah,
again.
no, I'm glad that I wasn't there when it got like real bad, where now all the doors are locked because at least the left door was unlocked for me. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Dylan, he had dropped out and he went to online, and I used to drive Dylan to school every morning. But everybody started asking like, "Oh, where's Dylan? Where's Dylan?" Because he didn't say he was dropping out. He stopped showing up, and so everyone was kept asking me where he was, and I jokingly said that he died in a car accident on his way to school, and I thought people would understand that this was a joke due to the fact that everyone knew I drove him to school, so I would be injured as well. This did not come across, and many people believed that Dylan died in a car accident. They didn't ask any questions about it. They just thought he was dead. And so whenever they heard from Dylan again, they were very confused.
They were like, "You're not Dylan. That's impossible. He's dead in a car crash." Dylan, Bakaera Jotaro.
See, but the thing is, I never told Dylan this. So Dylan was confused on why everyone thought he was dead.
I love that.
So yeah, I accidentally caused his death.
That's so funny.
That's great. 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, Mr. Pippard was he was our graphics design teacher. He's still one of the best teachers I've ever had. I always made jokes about his bald head, saying his wife would leave him. He's such a nice guy though.
Yeah, no, his wife's gonna get cucked, and after that, it's just downhill for him, man. Oh, but he's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, no, he's a
Yeah,
really
he's
nice guy.
great.
He would joke around with us all the time. Like he would also like this is the year after Dylan left, but he would be late a lot to the class, and I was also always late because it was my class after lunch, and so we would walk in together late, and he'd be like, I found him. I wasn't going to start class without him." So he would blame that he was late because he was looking around for me.
That's funny.
He was great. What?
I have a story of a teacher that I hate tremendously at that school, but feel free to continue your story for now. But I also want to get to mine.
Yeah, I think we have time to tell my story, or this story, and then your story, and then that'll be about an hour. But so that kid that you're talking about, that weird kid, so that he was in my class again for the next year, and I was in that class with Lucas, and he turned around, the weird kid, I cannot remember his name, but he turned around and he so badly wanted to know what the people behind him were talking about. And they were like, "It's none of your business." And he goes, "What were you talking about?" And they were like, "It wasn't anything that you need to know about." And this went on for like 15 minutes of this guy being like, "Just tell me what you were talking about." And it was nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with anything he was doing, about his work. Absolutely nothing. And Mr. Pippard literally had to escort him out of the room.
Jesus.
And he threw a fit outside and then banged on the door, got back in the classroom while Mr. Pippard's trying to take him back outside, And he goes, "Just tell me what you were talking about." And so Mr. Pipper literally had to force the people to tell him what they were talking about so this kid would shut the hell up. It was something about like just this bouncy ball that we had. Like it. I just did. It was a bouncy ball. We were playing with a bouncy ball.
That sounds like a fucking like a horror game that you're playing, where you encounter like a zombie that's outside the door and you just start slamming on the door.
Just tell me, bro! I won't tell
me
anyone
what you're
else,
talking
dude,
about.
bro. I swear, bro. Just tell me, bro.
Yeah, kid was so weird, dude.
Okay.
It was also the same kid that would get up every like 2 minutes, walk to the front of the classroom, and then just sit back down. So we had a running joke that he was throwing these micro bombs around the room that he was gonna like detonate at the end of the year.
Little did you
No,
guys
he
know,
was
it was
probably
a
just-
long-standing plan to gather intelligence on you guys to figure out what you were talking about that day.
Exactly.
Nah, he was probably just ripping one out and didn't want to sit in
Yeah,
it.
that's true. That's true too.
Just like I have to fart, but I can't do it right here because then I have to smell it. Where can I go?
Everywhere.
I know.
The place
I'll
that's
just do the
least conspicuous.
yeah,
the
the
front
least
of the room.
suspicious thing. The front of the room.
Okay, but so segues into weird people. My senior year of Plano Senior High was with this weird coach. Also, I don't know if I should actually be saying the full name of the school out loud, but whatever. So I forget what his name was. Oh no, Coach Womack. Oh, I hated this guy. So in high school I ran cross country. And our coach we literally just called him coach. I don't even know his actual name. But he was about to retire, right? And he's one of the coolest dudes ever. So he said that he was going to retire when my year was done because for my year we had me, a guy named Zach, and another guy named Ian, and we were all really good for, at the time anyway. I don't know if we're still good by their standards or not. But we thought Coach Womack was going to be like the next replacement coach for our coach. But, oh my god, am I so glad that never happened. So, Coach Womack ended up being a coach for the tennis team for the meantime, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him for, what was it, like medical terminology or something, right? Because at the time I was interested in physical therapy, so I started taking classes that, lined up with that. And he was my medical terminology teacher, and he was by far the most annoying SOB I've ever had to deal with in my entire life. The most egotistical bastard on this planet. And I've met a lot of very egocentric people. So,
How dare you?
he would play videos of him running meets during class. Yeah, he was off the wall insane. And the thing is about medical terminology, right? It's not a class you need to graduate at all. It's something that you specifically take if you're interested in this subject, but by no means is it in any capacity necessary. You could literally get a 0 in that class, and it would have absolutely no effect on you whatsoever. People only took it because they were interested, right? So, it was me and Henry, conveniently enough, in that class, and me and Henry were basically just goofing off in that class because I already knew all the medical terminology because I had previously taken a different class beforehand. I've forgotten what it's called at this point, but I already knew medical terminology. It was just an easy 8 for me, right? But he would basically require you, anytime you missed or thought you were going to miss class, to email him, right? And if you didn't email him, you were immediately villain number 1. You were put on his list, and he would be after your ass constantly. He would grade projects based off of not the information that they had on them, like you should normally grade a project. He graded them on their creativity. So if you weren't creative enough, you could go from a project that should have been a 100 to an 80. And it happened to several people in our class.
including
So,
you.
no, not me, because I never did the projects. So here's the thing, though. Here's the clincher, right? I skipped that class a lot because for people who don't know, uh, whoever's listening, and then also Dylan maybe, for Plano Senior High, if you go home during lunch, you don't need a doctor's note. They just count it as they count it as unexcused, right? But they won't call your house or anything and be like, "Oh, your kid wasn't at school today," right? So you could just go from school from 1 to 4th period and just go home after that, or 1 to 3rd if you were, had lunch, the first lunch period. But anyways, I did that a lot because I didn't want to go to Coach Wolfpack's class after like a week of going into it. So I would not do that for a while. Well, eventually it got to this point, right, where but every now and then I'd email him, right, and be like, oh yeah, this is coming up, so I have to not make class. But for the most part, I maintained his class for a good long while, and then end of the year is almost approaching, and I don't show up to his class like completely. And after that, I show up to my other classes, right, which includes cross country. Unfortunately, Coach Womack is on the field, and I'm walking onto the field with Henry. So Coach Womack goes, Amal, come over here a sec. And I go, oh, god damn it, because I already know what it's going to be about. And, I go over there. He stops talking to my coach, and he comes to me. He goes, why weren't you in my class today? And I go, and I think the reason I gave him was that I had to pick up my brother, which wasn't a lie. I had to genuinely go pick up my brother, because at the time, no one else could. So I go, yeah, no, I had to just pick up my brother from his class. And by the time I had picked him up from everything, it was already, your period was almost over, so I didn't think it was necessary for me to go in, right? It like 5 minutes of my time, not worth it. Just sat at home and finished up my lunch. And Coach Womack, he sits there and goes, well, why didn't you email me? And I go, I, I didn't care enough, right? I tell him that to his face,
Mhm.
and he got angry at first because he's like, Amal, do you realize how important my class is? And I don't know what it was, but something in me snapped. And I told him, and I was like, I don't care about your class. I No one in your class gives a shit about this. All right, and I basically just go off on a tangent. And at the end of it, he kind of looks shocked, right, to hear this revelation. And he goes, listen, I don't mean any disrespect to you or anything like that. I get it. You had to pick up your brother, and maybe you didn't have time, whatever. And it's just, it's a sign of respect to let people and notify them or whatever. And it's like, well, I guess I just don't respect you then, right? And then
God
after
damn.
that, he walked off, and the rest of the cross country guys are watching. And my coach, he walks up to me and he goes, Amal, you need to really, email him, whatever. She has to take the high ground. But I know my coach doesn't give a shit, actually. He's just trying to save face for the other coach, for Coach Womack. And I just go, Coach, I don't care. So I walk over to my boys, who at this point are my juniors, and I'm a senior at this point, so I only have juniors and people on my grade level as well. And they were like, Amal, you looked ready to deck that guy. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, no, dude, you had your fists like raised
Oh my
above
god.
your waist. I was like, oh shit. Because apparently I looked angry, and I couldn't tell, because I'm just in the heat of the moment, sternly talking to him, because I legit hated Womack. But
Mhm.
oh my god, I gave my juniors a scare, because
Dude,
they that was the first time they'd seen me angry, I guess. But
Yeah.
oh man,
Teachers like that are just that's so especially for it being at senior and not like an actual like college class. Like
yeah,
that's incredibly dumb.
yeah,
Because
like
you're not supposed to have to email your teachers
yeah, like I get it.
in senior.
Well, because I get it from one standpoint. Because on the other hand, I haven't my this was the same year I took my AP biology class, and she also wanted emails whenever you were gone. But the thing is that she was actually a responsible teacher, right? Like she taught you your shit. If you had problems, you could talk to her, and she talked to you back about them, right, and help you out. And she was genuinely a really nice teacher and good at her job. So I told her whenever I was out of her class, which was almost never. I just didn't do the homework for that class. But the thing is that like respect to me has to go two ways, and I get it. I was
Yeah.
being a disrespectful little shit, but at the same time, I hated him so much. I did not care, and I still don't to this day. But oh boy, I
Damn.
really hope that uh that he's not the cross country coach because
The name does not sound familiar, so I don't think
Thank-
he's still there. So,
thank God.
but yeah, we are at an hour and 8 minutes now, so we are going to end it here. So if anyone has any final things to say to everybody, then go ahead.
Goodbye, gamers.
Don't lose your temper at teachers like me.
All I'm gonna say is that if I ever need a mall to yell at a teacher for me, then
Mal, can you come down to my campus? My teacher's being mean to me.
Oh wait, Garrett, you need to come back out.
oh yeah, hey guys, I'm gay.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Round of applause.
No, I'm shoving him back in the closet.
No,
Get back in there!
All right.
Wait till Dylan's on the podcast. The other
Yeah, wait till Dylan.
the other Dylan.
But yeah, that'll be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next episode.
Bye bye.
Bye.